Everyone, welcome back to another episode of Grassroots Racer. Tonight we're here with Ben. So Ben races a BA Falcon, if I'm
Yeah,
saying correct.
close. Yeah, BF. Yeah, same,
B.
same, same. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Oh, close. He races a BF Falcon. It's red. It looks pretty flashy. But underneath is what's flashy. So he's got a lot of upgrades going on. He plans to race Super TT this year, and we'll talk about his plans moving forward. So, welcome to the show tonight, Ben. And when did you get your passion for motorsport?
Well, Ed, thanks for having me on. Really appreciate it. I guess we grew up uh with a sort of a block, a bush block, just past Colac there. So always just as kids on bikes and cars and mucking around and going as fast as possible and anything we could get our hands on. And so yeah, that was sort of it. And going to up to the 1000 as a kid, sort of around that sort of early 2000s, mid 2000s type thing, was sort of into into supercars big time. I mean, my parents still go and have gone every single year since then type thing. But yeah, so that's how I've got the Falcon. So yeah, that was sort of it. Riding dirt bikes and motocross and bits and pieces. But yeah, with age comes a cage, they say. So yeah, I had a ute, like a road car that I started sort of taking to track days and whatnot, just with road tires and bits and pieces. And up and the first time I went to Sandown, Luke GC was there, and I had no idea who he was, and we're just chatting in bits and pieces in the morning, and I hear this car start up, whang, and I look over, I see this green Commodore Senator or whatever it is, yeah, Senator. I saw the number one on. I thought, oh, far out. This like I had no idea what like improved production was or any of that sort of thing. And
Yeah.
yeah, I saw he had the seat in there. So like later on, I was just there by myself, and I go, oh, can I jump in? And he goes, yeah, jump in. And so it's pretty much all his fault, mate. Since then, like I was already sort of getting there, bits and pieces there, but after I went for the squirt in the Senator, I was just like. Jesus Christ. Like it was just something that I hadn't, just so extreme. And so in a way, and so I was like, yeah, nah, this is awesome. So just started modifying my road car more and more. Like it wasn't my daily driver, it was just a weekend car. But yeah, just bits and pieces as you do. And then it sort of just got to the point that I'm just like, no, well, this thing's probably too nice to put a cage in. And it was a ute anyway, so yeah, and the covert market doing what it was doing at that time, pretty valuable. So I thought, oh, it's going to be, an expensive day if I go in type thing. So end up selling that and then yeah, buying the Falcon that I've got now out of a paddock in Leongatha during one of the lockdowns, I think it was, just in pieces. But it's a factory manual, like 6 speed BF and put it all together, and then yeah, so that's sort of what I've been doing. And I sort of it's like the snowball effect, as like anyone would anyone know doing this sort of thing. You sort of think, oh, this is what my car's going to be, and I'm going to buy this suspension, that, blah blah blah, and then yeah, things can get some momentum as they're going down a hill. So yeah,
Yeah.
it was when are you familiar with Ray Hislop's Blue Falcon,
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
IP one? Yeah,
Yep.
so like whatever
He
happened
races
there.
sports sedans, doesn't he? Yep.
Yeah,
In
he's
State
got an
Series.
SG.
Yep.
Yeah. He's got a couple of supercars, but so he stopped running the IP Falcon for reasons, to do with the engine or whatnot. But yeah, I heard, I got wind that like he was going to strip that car, and so I thought, oh, that's interesting because I know that it was an absolute rocket ship. And so yeah, got on to Ray and went down and had a chat with him, and yeah, ended up buying like all his sort of brakes and suspension, like four-way conies, and is all the sort of good handling stuff that his car had. So my car now. So yeah, so that I mean. and I'm still just sort of I've got it apart at the moment, putting like supercar aero kit on or whatnot. But yeah, so that's sort of where we're at. So it's a bit of a, I mean, I'm not sticking to improved production rules. With you can't have the supercar style wing and other bits and pieces. So sports sedans it is, but turbo car, you can't be greater than 3.5 liter. So yeah, I sort of, and the Barra being a 4 liter, I've got to, reduce the capacity. So, which is it, I fully understand why, but it's a bit painful because,
Yeah.
my engine right now is a LPG green top that was 200
Oh,
bucks for the wreckers.
yeah.
Head starts, valve springs, oil pump gears. We're talking like way less than $1,000. I got two of them, but like that. But and I just lowest. It makes between sort of 500 and 600 real wheel horsepower, like for
Yeah.
no money. So
That's pretty
that's why
good.
it's so
That's pretty
it's
good.
so good that yeah. But the thing is, I mean, it'd be nice to be a Motorsport Australia compliant car and be able to go up to the 1,000 and whatnot. Do some national sports and stuff down the track. It'd be a nice thing to do. So it's sort of worth spending the money on the motor at some point, mate. So
Yeah.
yeah, that's
And
that's it. Yeah.
and you're gonna be well, you might race Super TT. Is that the goal at the moment?
Oh, I think it's very likely. Yeah, so like I'd say almost definitely. So yeah, my car's pretty good. I've got everything that I need safety wise, more or less. And so yeah, hopefully they didn't have an abundance of entrants on the first round, which was a bugger at Calder. So hopefully. It's I'd say they're going to run out the year and hopefully, the guys sort of come back. I think it was a bit of clash with another round or whatever, but yeah, so the Super TT fits me perfectly, like a bit run what you brung and yeah, so that's the plan, mate. That and sort of, just yeah, whatever else, sprint days and bits and pieces, but yeah, I'm excited, that's for
Yeah.
sure.
As a Victorian, it's I'm guessing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Okay. So as a Victorian, it's a bit hard to move around. But do you think you'll do the National Series Super TT? So do you think you'll be going to Sydney or other places? Although Sydney's next week, so I'm not sure if you're going to do that. But
Um, yeah, I'd like to certainly. I mean, take everything case by case basis. Yeah, it's a bit like I hope to make it to Sandown this weekend for a tampered day and just shake down the car again with everything I've changed. And then just get it to a point in which it's just like a good, reliable car, and then yeah, committing to something interstate. Like I'm keen as to go to the Bend. I don't know. Have you been there?
no, I go there for the first time this year. It's going to be hectic.
Oh, yeah, nice. Yeah, I've heard it's amazing. Like, so yeah.
When do you go
Um,
there? Or
hey,
when are you looking to go there? Like what event?
look, like, no, yeah, the national TT runs at the Bend. I'm pretty sure that's around.
I'll check for you.
But like, just for example, I'd love to go there and yeah, wherever else. Like Sydney would be amazing too. I think they're under lights. I think
Yeah,
this.
so I'm racing up there next weekend with the Formula X8, but I do know um Super TT will be there.
Yeah, nice.
So
Um,
that's with double SA.
yeah. Nice. Yeah, and so how have you found the RX-8s?
It's very cool. I did a test day at Winton, and coming from Formula V's and go karts, and I've driven a Focus, Subaru, around Winton, all different sorts of
Yeah,
cars. I even drove
all
a
different.
I drove a supercar around Winton too. That was interesting. And out
Really?
of out of
Wow.
out of all the cars and kart that I drove, the RX-8 was the best by far because the balance in them is 50-50
Yeah.
and it handles so well. You
Okay.
wouldn't believe it. They do the same lap times as the Formula V, but the Formula V is so elegant through the corners. But so is the
Yeah.
RX-8. So they
Yeah.
they even out, but the RX-8s are the best thing you'll ever drive. If you ever drive one, you'll be shocked.
Okay, that's fully interesting. So what sort of lap times roughly do they do around Winton?
The fast, super fast is a 37 for our category.
Okay. Yeah, okay. Yeah, nice.
Why?
Cool.
What do you do? In
No, like
oh,
I haven't even been there with my car properly. Like I did my OLT there. But
oh yeah.
yeah, like I still had road car brakes on and like I think I did a 39 or something, but it no setup or anything. But yeah, no, it's just interesting. It's just interesting to know, what sort of the pace is. But yeah, it's interesting. So what supercar did you drive?
Oh, super kart.
Oh,
Uh,
kart. Okay. I
yeah.
was like, wow. Okay. Yeah.
No.
Yeah,
Yeah,
nice, nice.
I'm not that good. But yeah,
Not
they've
yet. I'm
got
sure it'll come.
yeah, they've got so they're like a regular go-kart, but they have a big fairing on the front of them, so it's
Yeah,
like a big
I know what you
nose.
mean.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're a cool thing.
Yeah, right.
So but they're all very similar lap times, except for the Focus and the Subaru I drove around there. They were more road cars, so I was in
Yeah.
like the 40s, the high 40s. So
Yeah.
it's,
Yeah, sweet.
Winton's a good track though to sort of test what you got, except if you got more of a what you've got car, because
A heavy car.
they're probably better for Sandown's probably a really good track for those cars, I'd
Yeah, the
assume.
high horsepower. Yeah, I mean, Sandown is like 10 minutes from my factory or like max 15, 20 minutes from where I live. So I've been to Sandown more than anywhere. I've been to Sandown plenty of times.
Yeah, awesome track.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean it's simple, but it's fun as and like being so close to my, where I am. It's
Mm.
I mean for me to drive to Winton, like I've been there, been to Winton four times in just different cars and bits and pieces, and yeah, it's awesome, but it's a bit of a commitment. Whereas if you just go to Sandown, you have a problem, you just drive 15 minutes home. But yeah,
Yeah,
no, I mean Winton's cool because it's got some like a bit of undulation, like a bit of downhill,
yeah,
and I mean it's not heaps, but I still think it like I know people like maybe with sort of
they give a
bigger
shit.
cars they yeah, but I think it's I don't know, I love it, but yeah. um
I think Sandown though is still very underrated. People very easily push that out of the way when they talk about great tracks. I love Sandown personally. It's a real as much as it's horsepower, it's also a real driver's track at the same time.
yeah
You've got to hit the corners right, otherwise you're messed up for the next because of the straights. If you mess up the corner coming onto the straight, then you're
yeah
done for that long straight at the back or in the main.
yeah, especially you would be in a V or a little open wheeler like that,
Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah,
yeah.
nice.
I did have a quick look as well. So the Super 2Ts will be racing at the same time as us down at the bend. So I'll probably see you there if you do that round. Um,
Yeah, yeah. It's unlikely for this year, but
yeah,
it'd probably be more state stuff this year. But yeah, I'm certainly looking forward to it. Getting out and doing some of the national rounds, that's for sure.
mm. Um, you guys go to Winton on the 18th and 20th of October
Yeah,
as
okay.
well.
Yeah, that's
Um,
that's that's pretty the or is it August? The quarter rounds in August, I think.
Calder, hold on, have a look. But yeah, we're not doing anything at Calder for the RX8s, which I was very surprised about.
Okay.
Um,
Have you been out there?
yeah, I went out there. Do they also call them super tin tops? I'm guessing they would.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, you're out there in late September.
Yeah, that's almost like definite. I'll almost definitely be there unless like my car blows up or something. But like as I said, I've got a spare engine anyway, and unless I'd have to have something majorly wrong to not be there. Like it's an interesting track, isn't it? Did you drive the RX-8 out there or your open wheelers?
I drove the Formula V there, but unfortunately, it was one of them really terrible days. I forgot my helmet out of everything, and so then luckily because that's one of the track they do the V8 drive days, they had a spare
Yeah,
helmet, so
yeah.
I was able to borrow one of them, and then. What else? Oh, and then I lost front brakes after the first practice session, so I did the whole day with no front brakes.
What?
And then the track was just super bumpy in the open wheeler. So
Yeah.
yeah, it was a lot of emotions that day. I did the test.
Trying to succeed, but yeah. Shit,
Yeah,
that would have been interesting.
yeah.
So what were you doing coming into turn one then with no front brakes? You're buttoning off and coasting and then just trying to not lock up the rear type thing, or
Oh, the Formula V's don't have enough stopping power to actually lock them up unless you give it a real
oh, okay.
crack. So
Oh, okay.
if you're going in and go and accelerate and then bang straight on the brake, you probably lock it up. But when I coast and then press hard, it's not too bad. Like it wouldn't lock
Oh,
up.
okay.
It was just
Yeah.
more the front end was diving one way, and then
Oh,
so
okay. Right.
yeah, it
One
was
side was doing a bit more than the other side type
yeah,
thing.
yeah, because like oh they were working, but when I say working, the front left one would push a little bit, and the right side was doing nothing. That's how bad
Yeah.
it was. So
Okay.
it was it was dragging
Bit
pretty
of ex
bad, and then
bit of excitement for you, mate.
yeah, kept me focused. I'll tell you that much. So
Yeah.
I did go off a few times at turn one, I will admit. But
Yeah.
they have a good runoff system there. You can just go down the end,
Yeah.
turn around, come back. So
Oh, yeah, true. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, nice.
But what do
Mm.
you sort of think of Calder, and how does the Falcon go around there?
Well, I've only been there once. The Falcon goes amazing there. The time that I was there, um, they actually combined the Thunderdome in with the national circuit.
Oh
So you come, say, like out of the last corner, and then you go like onto the drag strip, and then about maybe, I don't know, like a couple of 100 meters down, you turn left and then go down, and then like clockwise around the Thunderdome, come up, and then you sort of come around left over the rise again. Then you're back on like the straight, and then you're into turn one.
yeah.
Yeah, I was having like honestly the best day of my life. It was like I just got out there the first session, and it like that the Thunderdome's like it's crazy. Like you just keep going faster and you just don't understand. You just keep going faster and you just don't understand. And yeah, I mean it's hard to describe like how good it is. But I actually had my flywheel bolts. They sort of come loose and they all sheared off um, that day, which was a bit of a bugger because I was really having fun. But yeah, anyway, that's sort of I've learned that it was a common Barra thing, and you get like a retaining plate and bits and pieces. That's on my car now. I've got a different engine in there with all that and whatnot. But I want to go back, and I want to go there because they run actual even just standalone days for the Thunderdome, where
Right.
you don't just do three-quarters of it or two-thirds or whatever. You actually just literally do laps of Thunderdome. So pretty keen to go back and do that.
That'd be pretty
Yeah, so
cool.
yeah, I reckon the track's fun as too. I mean, it's hard to have a bad time, isn't it? But yeah, because you come round and then you're up that hill and down and bits and pieces. Big ripple strips and whatnot. So yeah, it's fun.
Yeah.
Mm.
It definitely looks fun. I only did the little circuit. But how rough is the dome actually? Because I heard a little
Uh,
rumor that they're redoing it.
oh, that'd be amazing if that happened. I'm pretty sure I got my back wheels in the air at one point, and that was on the flat part. Yeah, like because you sort of, as I said, like you turn left and go around, and then there was like this chunk of tarmac kind of missing. It was all just shitty. I fucking nailed it, and I was like, oh, that wasn't good. And like I just really harsh on my suspension and wheel and everything. And then it kind of pushed me out to a place I hadn't been before on the flat part just before it turned, and I was pinned and just wow, and I was like, oh shit, like, and I was like, better not go there. So, and then like when they told us they go, don't go too high because it's bumpy up high, and I sort of was creeping up a little bit. I'm like, oh, that's where they mean, you know what I mean? But yeah, so very bumpy, and I can't like if you're going like flat out. Yeah, it could be interesting, I reckon. But anyway, it's a bit of fun. It's history, isn't it? Like, that was before my time, even as a spectator, but well before yours. But
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know. It's something different. Like we don't have that, yeah, anywhere else. So that's good.
Well, one of the guys I know, he was there in an XL, and he was right behind this guy, and he just couldn't get past him on the dome. So he just went around the outside of him. But because he was in an XL, it wouldn't have been too bad. But I think I saw the foot. He
Yeah.
just, but it's no, it's crazy the dome, and I'd love to see him redo it because I reckon it'd be cool.
Oh, be so good. Yeah.
Um, and just to see, even if they redid some of the, or they have redone some of the other track, they redid the last corner where they used to have to drag strip.
Yeah.
Um, that was interesting because when I went there as well, I forgot to mention it was damp.
Yeah, okay.
So, and it was like the week after they did it, so we were all slidesies.
Yeah, I know what you mean because it get on that concrete bit. Yeah, there was a bit like that for me too. But it wasn't damp. If it was damp, it would have been way worse. Way, way
Well,
worse.
we had TA2 Trans Ams there, and they were sideways. I tell you, properly
Yeah.
sideways. And then as you come over the hill, they would jump like their wheels are coming off the ground over the hill.
Yeah, they're
And
faster than you think. Like I remember us like saw him at the Sandown Supercars round last year, I think it was it? I think, or was it something else? Nah, it was what was it? Oh, it was with the TCR cars.
it would have been the
Speed
Shannon
series,
series. Yeah, Shannon
Shannon
Speed.
series.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember us like over at Dandenong Road watching them come down. I'm like, oh, they're flying. And I was like looking at times. I'm like, no shit, they're doing like 12s. I was like, wow, that's surprising.
Yeah,
Mm,
well, when you look at them from the outside, they sound mighty and they don't really look it. But I went for a ride in one and they are insane. The grip they
yeah,
have, they stick to the floor. They run these Hoosier tires and they just stick to the
yeah.
ground.
They,
It's
I guess they
crazy.
stick and they've got like a good beefy sidewall because they use a small rim and like the more sidewall you got, it seems to help like
Mm,
big time. I mean,
yeah,
that's even an interesting thing too, like talking about sidewalls, like between with the AO50s, that the 255 AO50 is a faster tire than the 265.
yeah.
Because the 255 40, and that's what all, Paulie and all the fast improved production guys run the 255, not the 265. It's like, okay. It's
So
just
that
goes to show that more like the greater percentage of sidewall is faster, even though it's a skinnier tire. But yeah,
depends. I'd probably run a fatter tire on the front and then skinnier on the rear, but I'm not sure if you're allowed to do that or not.
yeah, I don't know. Um,
Because it helps sort of rotate the car. And then
yeah, okay.
I don't know, that's just a personal opinion, but
Oh, you just try it. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I never thought of trying to do like a reverse staggered setup. Yeah, it's interesting.
well, when we do Motorcanas, a few of the, do you know what the Motorcanas are?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
So I do them sometimes, and what do a lot of guys do? They put the safe space savers on the back, and because you're turning so sharp, they actually get the
yeah,
rear to like lift off the ground, and it helps them
yeah.
rotate
Okay.
the car more. It's
Yeah,
it's
okay.
interesting. So
And is that just in front wheel drive cars or
yeah,
rear
it'd
wheel
be
drive?
front wheel drive
Yeah.
cars.
So they're trying to focus everything on the front wheel and like just the rear. Yeah, if they can just if it's gonna slide like it because with the space saver, it's
Mm.
gonna want to turn because there's no rubber there. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That makes sense.
And I've also done it in a rear wheel drive, and in the rear wheel drive, you're not allowed to hoon, but you're allowed to use the rear tires to spin the car, and that's all you do. You turn, get on the throttle, and just let it turn you
Yeah.
around. It's a very people underestimate Motorcanas too. They go, "Oh, it's boring." It's not. You got to remember the pattern, and you got to do
Yeah.
it really well because you only got
Yeah,
one
that's it.
try at it. So
Yeah,
yeah,
I don't reckon yeah, nothing's boring when you're trying to perform at your highest level. Like,
yeah.
you're focused, you're up it. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So
Yeah, it'd be
so you're saying you're going to take your car out next week to Sandown, give it a test. What modifications did you do to it from last time you drove it?
okay. So basically, what I haven't had a good go of, like when I bought all the stuff from Ray, like is as I said, the suspension and brakes and sway bar and bits and pieces like that. And I got it. the last time I was running in the dry, I had all the front end in because he managed to get like a really good like optimal caster and camber set up with the factory stuff by like changing pickup points and bits and pieces and different brackets with the upper control arms. That's all on my car now. And so I had that on and the front brakes, but I didn't have the supercar rear brakes on. And I had the wrong, I didn't have the four-way shockers in. So I had since gotten the four pots on the rear and the right suspension and stuff like that. Went to Sandown, but it was pissing rain. So it's
Yeah.
just so I've sort of haven't yet experienced what that's like yet. And mainly the rest of the aero kit. Like I've got the supercar wing on. But yeah, just the sort of I mean, it's not really going to make much of a difference at Sandown, obviously that side of things. But yeah, so that's probably the other sort of thing that it takes a lot of work, man. And
Yeah.
I've done a side exit exhaust. I nearly finished that,
Is that what
which
you had
that
on your,
you know,
is that what you had
hey,
on your story today?
yeah,
I think, yeah.
it was, man, yeah. So because I've come through I mean, because I want to get a flat floor happening in it. So and there's no way, like, believe it or not, the supercar side skirts they look like they're massive, but they're actually almost dead in line with the bottom of the floor pan. So
Yeah.
if I had done a side exit, it would have like underneath, it would have hung lower than it wouldn't have come through the actual the side skirt. So I was like, no, I don't want that. And then yeah, so I brought it through the cabin anyway, and out the sill there. And yeah, so that and like, dude, I've spun like so many spanners on this car and driven it like just a little bit. Like, not that that's upsetting me at all, but I just can't wait to drive it again. It's just like so much effort and work and financial commitment and whatnot. And it's just like, I don't know, it feels like your birthday or something. Like it's the best. So that's
Yeah.
what I'm sort of gunning for, mate. I'm hoping to oh, look, I've changed all types of stuff actually when I'm thinking about it. Because I've changed, like, I've put a different intercooler in it. I've flipped it 180 so I can actually put the supercar like brake ducts in and whatnot, because the pipes were in the way of that. I've changed how the radiator was mounted, stuff like that. So yeah, they're not massive performance things, but yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how it sounds now with the side pipe, and then two, yeah, give it a running with all the suspension in, all the brakes in, and see what it can do, and then yeah, it's a bit like the I've still got the factory master cylinder and booster. ABS is there, it doesn't work. But so then that's sort of like the next thing is like I've got all the gear to do it, like to delete the booster and the master cylinder and whatnot, and put the dual independent master cylinders on and the bias adjuster and whatnot. And it's a bit like when I've done that, like that's when it should be just a good thing for a while. I've done plenty of weight saving actually as well. I've cut everything out of my doors and bits and pieces, any weight that I can take out. I've been doing that too. But so yeah, that's basically the status of the car, and it's like hopefully I'll get there, I reckon, for this weekend, and then it's a bit like, okay, let's sign up for some Super TT and have a go.
Yeah. So you're gonna do the double ASA series or the Motorsport Australia, or is your most?
Yes, yeah. So so the MA is either for a car like mine, improved production or sports sedans,
Oh,
and
yeah.
improved production, I can't run my wing. I need to put a restrictor on the turbo, so not doing that.
Yeah.
And sports sedans are 3.5 liter. So, which like I want to do, but that's just a whole nother ball game. And it makes instead of $1,000 engine, it's a $10,000 engine. You know what I mean? Big
Yeah.
difference. So So yeah, so I probably should have done. I've done my OLT and have my AASA license. I probably should have done the MA one, to be honest, because I think AASA actually accept the MA one.
No,
I'm
not
not 100.
anymore.
Oh,
Not
don't
anymore.
they?
I have to run a
Oh,
dual license this year. It's a real pain.
okay.
Yeah,
Interesting. And so
because
what MA is the RX-8 stuff? That's MA, is it? Or is that
no, so
AASA?
the old series was RX-8 Cup. This other series, Formula RX-8, as you can guess, two series turned on each other. I can tell you what MA license I have. But yeah, I got this AASA one not long ago actually. But I didn't have to do an OLT since I already have a
Yeah.
Motorsport Australia one.
Yeah,
But
nice.
um, it's a high speed license or a
Yeah,
competition.
okay.
So
Yeah, sweet.
it's
Yeah,
I'm
nice
still a
one.
actually this year they're gonna charge me senior rate. So even though I'm still a junior, I'm in their eyes I'm a senior. So yeah,
That's a good thing, I
I know
think.
maybe. Well,
Moving up in the world.
yeah, getting old now. All the
Yeah.
grey hairs. Um, but yeah, I'm excited to do. But I have to have the dual license because I would have sort of held off on Motorsport Australia. But I've got I've got Bathurst at the end of the year, and that event's separate to the rest of the championship. So
In the
it's
RX-8, obviously.
yeah, so
Yeah, okay.
it's a separate event. So it's the Bathurst International. So it's exciting, but it's a Motorsport Australia event, not AASA. So I've got to keep both licenses.
So what yeah, I've heard that rings a bell. Bathurst International. What runs there?
So that's where they bring the GT cars from overseas and they come and race here. It's not like the 12 hour. I think they do shorter races, but pretty much GT3 cars and that come over. I can give you a proper
Right.
description, but
Okay, so RX-8's running there. What else? Is any combined sedans running there or?
I can give that a look. But I think there's Trans Ams and TCR there, like that'll be the
Oh, I know the round you mean. I know the round you mean. Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah.
oh actually I was just on this thing. Um yeah, sorry, you just have to give me one sec. But
Oh, that's all good, man. Yeah, yeah, because I think it was an international TCR round as well.
so we've got um oh they were gonna have international TCR, but now it says it's cancelled. That's a bit odd. Um,
Mm,
but we've got Formula RX-8, Monochrome GT4 series, Precision National Sports Sedans,
boom.
production cars, G so Fanatec GT World Challenge,
Yeah.
Australia Super Cheap Auto TCR series, Trico Trans Am series, Workhorse Radical Cup.
Right. Oh, the
So
radicals around Bathurst as well. Wow.
it's gonna be scary.
Fully. So what are you gonna do to prepare, mate? You're just gonna do 1,000 laps on the sim or you already done that?
Oh, mate, the amount of laps I've done for Sydney prepared for this weekend because I've never been to Sydney, so we'll have
Yeah.
to see how we go.
Do you
I've gone.
reckon
Yeah,
so what car do you drive in the sim that's kind of like an RX-8 or
I've got a Assetto Corsa, so that's a game where I can there's pretty much every car you ever could imagine. There and
does
there's
it
an
does it
RX-8.
does it
Yeah.
change like the handling dynamics as well, like to be similar to an RX-8, or does it just kind of look like an? I've always wondered that about that game.
No, there's an actual RX-8 car mod I've got. So,
Yeah,
you
okay.
download off the internet or you can pay for them. Some mods.
Is
They'll
that
def
is it lifelike at all? Like, is it lifelike? Is it realistic or?
Well, it sort of feels realistic, but I don't know how to set it up. That's the sort of thing. Like real car setup, I'm fine with. On the simulator, it's all a bit weird because I'm like, don't know how. Because when you drive a car, right, you have the feeling. You can feel what the car does.
Yeah,
In
yeah.
in this simulator, you'll be driving, and then your rear end will just come around on you. And have no idea that it's
I
happening.
know what you mean, man.
Yeah,
100% know what you mean. You're like, that shouldn't have happened, but it did happen. Yeah.
yeah. But
Mm.
yeah,
Yeah, nice.
it's all interesting. But look, if you had any advice for your 16-year-old self, what would you sort of ask him or tell him?
Um, I Yeah, yeah. I'd say I mean hard work, pays off, and knowledge is power. So like, yeah, get as educated as you can possibly get, and then just always look for the opportunities to align with people that, like, if you want to be somewhere else, start hanging out with people who are sort of doing that. Work your way like that. So I don't know, but yeah, that's probably it, man.
Yeah, cool. And is there any sponsors you'd like to thank and give a shout out to your own social media so people can follow you and see what you're up to?
I'm 747 mode, all one word, on Instagram, and I think we'll probably get some YouTube stuff happening. But yeah, that's basically it. Sponsored by Align Electrical Group for all your commercial construction needs at the moment. And yeah, hopefully sort of get the car going and half decent, and then maybe get some sponsors on board. That'd be amazing.
Cool. That's good. Well, thanks for jumping on tonight. I really appreciate it. Ben, you're doing quite well for yourself. And look, I appreciate you jumping on. And to anyone racing this weekend, drive fast and take chances safely, of course.
Thank you, Ayrton. Really appreciate your time and the opportunity to come on, and I look forward to catching up in real life, mate. So good
Cool.
luck with the RX-8 stuff, and I'm sure I'll see you around.
Cool. Thank you. Really appreciate
See
that.
you, mate.